Well, hello, my friends. Super excited because today I have here back with us my good friend Ian Edwards, joining us all the way from England, and we're going to talk about reinventing yourself as an artist.
Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Hey, Ian, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Hey, really good. Good to see you as well.
You're not a stranger to us here and to my audience, and very happy to connect with you as well, because today we're gonna talk about a topic that I think is super interesting, which is reinventing ourselves as artists, right? Which is this idea of looking at who we are, what we do, why we do it, looking at our brand as well, how we present ourselves to our audience, and all our communication that we delivered out to the audience, to pretty much to the people. And that is super exciting because you've been doing that process in the last few weeks and months, and we had a great conversation, and we had a coaching call, and we went over my framework of my kind of a brand framework, and we talked about those things, and it was really exciting. And so you kind of have gone through that, and you're still making some adjustments to it. So I think it would be really fun to have a conversation of that process, and the idea of the importance of doing it as artists. Sometimes we feel that once you get rolling as an artist, then you just keep always rolling and rolling and rolling, and you don't need to stop to look back or to say, wait a minute, what am I doing, right? Who am I? And all these things. And that's a process that you very wisely have done, and not only done that, but you have reached to others too and say, hey, I'm in the middle of this, let's have a conversation. And we had that, and I think that is really cool because it allows you to also get the feedback from all the people you trust and get in that process, and then reinventing yourself at the end on the other side. So first, before we talk about the details, Ian, tell me a little bit, well, first of all, for the friends who happen to maybe not know you yet or haven't seen the previous episode that we did, tell us a little bit about what is it that you do.
Okay, so I'm a sculptor, figurative sculptor, and I've been sculpting now for, let me think, maybe nearly 30 years. Wow, really nearly 30 years. No, yeah, it must be 30 years. All of that, that's scary. And I started off, my backstory is I started off as a woodcarver, traditional woodcarver, early 16th century to late 18th century ornamental wood carving. But it was there that I fell in love with form, with creating form. And so I would do my apprenticeship and squash that down into fewer days. So I'd give myself 2 free days, a Friday and a Saturday every week. And then I'd study figurative sculpture because while I was there, I was about 17. And one time, one of the guys in the studio where I was working, they had a calendar. And it was a calendar of Michelangelo's sculptures. And it just blew me away. I was like, what the hell is this? This is my first time seeing it. I never really did art at school. So I left school at 16. And I was discovering art whilst I was in the studio, and it was just blew me away. But I did a 4-year apprenticeship there, and then very quickly set up my own studio. I think by the time I was 20-ish, I had my own studio. Sounds really fancy. That was my mum and dad's garage. But I was out running the ship myself, and absolutely loved it. And over that time, I taught myself the fundamental skills of sculpting, mold making, casting in bronze, PR. What was that all about? Where do you sell the work? Literally, and in those days there was no internet, or if there was an internet, it wasn't like
right.
So that's it really. That was me. I built it up from there and slowly then created more and more work. But then my work started to merge, my skill started to merge of figurative work with my core beliefs. And my core beliefs are about self-discovery, self-realization, and self-development. And so then I created very early on, when I was about 23, a piece of a man carving himself out to depict self-creation. Through the focusing of your mind, you can literally carve your own destiny. It's one of my core beliefs. And I've repeated that again and again, and I've just finished that piece just again recently. So that would be my 4th time sculpting the same piece.
Yeah.
But I got many other pieces depicting my core beliefs, symbolic poses like the leap of faith, a figure jumping outwards, born of fire to rise again from the troubles or suffering of life, to rise from the fire like a phoenix. And all of these symbolic pieces, and this has been my life and I've absolutely loved it. Yeah, so that's my background picture.
Yeah.
But it's been and I want to say this, because many people ask about this. It's been a hard journey in the sense there is always this interplay between self-expression, what you want to say, and making a living.
Yes.
This interplay of the two. It's and that's the bit. How much do you play to the audience? And how much do you play to what you just feel to create? You play to the audience because not necessarily just for the accolade, but for the financial necessity, two sons, mortgage, and so on.
Right. And the things
cost money. And then you build that, and at the same time, there's something inside you which wants to say something. So you've got these two, and it's that balance of for the outside world, for the inside world.
And they're always there.
Always there.
They're always there. Yeah, absolutely.
You never conquer that. When I say you never conquer that, because there's no answer.
Right.
It's the daily living of it. It's the daily practice of living this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And something that I love about you, since I met you, we have had the chance to meet in person, but we have done through social media. I follow you, you follow me, and we have connected various times. I've visited you and on Instagram live with your audience and vice versa, and then the breakfast with Sergio and so on. And you are an artist who are very successful in what you do. Your work's absolutely phenomenal, and it's in many collections around the world too. And you have a great audience on Instagram, social media that has really that love really what you do. And so the question is, for somebody looking at you from a distance, right? Looking at, wow, here's an artist very successful on what he does. Why you need to reinvent yourself when, from this point of view, it appears that, do you have to?
Great question. Do you have to? I say, I don't believe you do have to, but you see it out there that brands reinvent themselves. And you go, oh yeah, no, I should reinvent myself because, the times are moving on. Right. This can be a great idea. And that can be the worst idea you ever have.
Yes.
Right? Because what may be true to you is what you're still creating. It's still live. It's still speaking through you. Right?
Right.
And then if you step away because the audience you think would like to hear something else, you'll cheat yourself. Right? Or you cling to the safety of the shore because this worked last year.
Right.
Why won't it work next year? And it's dead. You're basically, what I say, you're doing a caricature of yourself. It's not real.
Right.
And then it's a problem. So I say that it has to be led by, the rebranding has to be led by, if it's to be a true rebranding in the sense that it has new work, a new spring coming out, then it has to be connected to that. But I see also there is a more lighter branding in the sense, change the colors, this is also okay. This is fine, change the look. This is okay too. But what I'm talking about, for me, the rebranding was to do with your work.
Yeah.
And how that, the style maybe of your work more. And then that rebrands you because the style's changed slightly.
Right.
So these are the things. And this is why I reached out to you. And we had spoke about this before, and you said to me, look, if you ever want to run through this program where I will ask you certain questions and we go backwards and forwards. And I think what I needed to do, first of all, was maybe get a little bit more lost. If that makes sense, right? I got a bit more lost. Before I went
grab me in the wilderness.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I had my time in the wilderness. And then I was coming back to it and I thought, I want to reflect this back from you and also hear your professional point of view, which was very helpful. And then we ran your, one of the points you made was the branding triangle.
Yes.
Backstory, your values, and then your influence,
Influences.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I took that and I went really deep with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe because of where I was at, it was why I went so deep, because it made me re-question the will. The will in, what are you doing? What's this for? You know, is this just change the colors? You know, do you just want new colors? And I realized I wasn't saying what I wanted to say anymore. I had gone adrift. So, you know, this thing when I was saying at the beginning between a little bit playing too much to the audience and not enough hearing yourself, I'd gone adrift. And by doing the branding exercise, brought me back in line because it made me ask core questions.
Yeah.
Where have I come from? What do I truly value? You know, and I'm an extreme character. So that question comes down to, what am I going to give my life to?
Right.
What I really value.
Right.
You know? Because otherwise, what am I doing? Playing at it, right? It's pretty serious for me. And then my inspirations and the whole thing linked up, and then it really hit me. And I did it with my wife. Because we were on the call. We were on the call all together, weren't we? And then I went through the exercise with her, which is great because I obviously felt really safe with her. And I make myself sound like a really, you know, nice, feely person.
Yeah.
You know, come and work with me for a month, and you'll go, that guy, he's not that. Trust me, he's not that. But it was just a moment I was going through, right?
Yeah.
So if you actually know me, you'll go like, really? He's got feelings. So yeah. But we went into it, and I cried. I cried, and it broke down because I realized there was something I did have to say, which really is my brand being a reflection of who I am at core. And I'd become disconnected. And I come away with it realizing one of the most important things on this journey is to remain connected. And
connected to yourself. That's
connected to yourself, connected to your mission, connected to your core voice, why you're creating the artwork, what you're doing, what your vision is, what gets you up in the morning, you know, gives you that the influence, the inspiration.
Right.
What is that? And as soon as you lose the connection from that, then it allows what we were speaking about earlier, is allows the little hooks to come in on the outside world through social media. The brilliant tool it is, it starts to tell you, you should look like this. You should, you know, as we know, right? It's crazy stuff. So, and I, without realizing, it started to influence me. I had lost connection to one degree or another. You know, it's only ever degrees, but for myself, to one degree or another, I'd lost connection. And this was a coming home. This was a coming home. And that's why I say 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. This has always been the journey for me. You know? 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. But it's the 1 step back reconnects you. You get more true, and then you fire from there again. And I'm at that point now where I want to fire on many fronts. And the pinnacle moment of it was going through the triangle.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. It's something that you said at the beginning of that. You know, this question was that you needed to get even more lost in order to find yourself. And I don't know if you watch that show Naked and Afraid, where they take a couple that they don't know each other and they drop them in the middle of somewhere in the world. Okay, it's called Naked and Afraid. Look it up. Okay. They take a couple that they don't know each other and they're survivalists, you know, supposedly. So they drop them somewhere you know, in the desert or in the jungle of Brazil or something. They have to survive for like 30 days or something like that. And have to not only survive, go from point A to point B, where they will get picked up by the helicopter or whatever, right? So the idea is they have to find a way to survive. They're totally naked. They can only bring 2 things, like each one brings something, something to make fire with, or a net, or something to fish, whatever. But, you know, it's that idea of like, they have to get really lost in the jungle in order to find their way. So when they get to the other side, they're like completely changed people, right? They have, of course, lost like 20 pounds, but like they have found themselves in the process in some way. And I think, you know, I just thought about that because of what you said, and I think it's so true. You know, in order for us sometimes to reinvent ourselves, to reconnect ourselves, we need to depart from what we know. And right before
Yeah,
we started recording, you know, we had this little chat about we think we are in control of what we do in social media, but it's so much the other way around. You know, they
yeah,
are the ones who are holding the carrot. We're chasing the carrot, and
yeah,
before we know it, you know, because of the pace of these things and the hamster wheel going 24/7, you know, it's so incredibly interesting how we can just continue follow that carrot, but really start to lose, you know, as you said, that connection with ourselves. And only by getting really separated, more lost, we find our way out. And I think on the other side, when we get to the other side, as you have gone through that process, even doing also self-reflection and more like a personal retreat for yourself and separating yourself, you know, I think that that's an amazing I think example of really taking this to seriousness as an artist and saying,
mm,
I need this for myself, I need this time, I need this because I know the value of it, and I know on the other side it will be a game changer for me, and being able to now, as you
yeah.
have gone through the other side. Mhm.
Absolutely. No. And you put it really well. It is absolutely that. And I think it's the age-old story. You go away to find yourself,
Yeah,
and that's why
exactly.
I say I think this is a pattern anyway. Even if it's in a small steps, you know, in a
Hmm.
small circles, and then that's all in a bigger circle. You know,
Hmm.
you lose yourself to find yourself again. It constantly
Right.
does this, and I agree. And that program sounds good. Um,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can.
So, but um, there was a point I was going to make there. It's the and as the artist as well.
Hmm.
For me, why art? Well, because it's fulfilling.
Hmm.
Because there's a very fundamental thing for me, which is there is only one thing of meaning in the world,
Hmm.
and that's the quality of your life.
Hmm.
And the quality of your life is in direct reflection to how true you are to yourself. This is what I found,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, Nothing else brings it. Everything else is false gold. That's what I
Right.
found. And so for me, what is the purpose of art? Purpose of art is to increase the quality of my life,
Hmm.
and then the quality of the life of the viewer or the purchaser. Right?
Right. Right.
It's that interplay.
Right.
Um, there are jobs that it has to do in between. It has to afford me a living,
Right.
and so on and so forth. There are necessities which it has to also do.
Right.
But the second it doesn't give you any quality of life because it's not true to you,
Hmm.
you've lost quality of your life. You've lost meaning.
Right.
What are you doing? And so it really is that fundamental.
Right.
Um, and I also ask myself constantly, you know, within that, then, because it's still the dance, which we spoke about, because you still do need to sell, you
Right.
still need to play to the audience to one degree, you know.
Hmm.
It's a sharing, it's a two-way thing. Um, and it's keeping that balance going.
Hmm.
And it's in that two-way balance of playing to one degree to the audience
Hmm.
where there is a danger of becoming lost,
Mm.
that you just start to be you're being danced more. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're
You
not
almost like you water down your own message because of it.
right.
You
Yeah, you
dilute
water
it
down your
yourself.
message, or you go, oh, it's like a kid at school. Almost like the social media, like a kid at school, you know, oh, they like that. I'll do it again.
Yes, exactly. And
You
again and
know,
again and
oh,
again.
and again, right? Yeah, you know, and then you watch the likes go up, and you watch your followers go up, you know, and I have a large following, you know,
Yeah.
for the general artist,
Hmm.
but it's still the same picture, it's still doing the same thing, you still get caught in the same trap, if not more, as you play to it more.
Right.
So
Like they
on
say,
that front,
if it's working, why break it, right? But
yeah,
sometimes you need to break it to in order to get to where
yeah,
you got. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. No, you have to, and also to check that it's not the dog, it's not the tail wagging the dog, you know, and that's the point of breaking it.
Hmm.
So that's it, and that's the core picture for me, is to keep
Yeah.
close to myself, to remain connected, And that's why the exercises which you put forward for me, which I'm still working on, because that one was so fundamental, the first one, it kind of put me into silence for a bit, realizing, no, I just need to connect. I don't need any more for a minute. You know, I could only eat that, if you see what I mean.
Right.
But I will come back to you again and say, okay, what's next? You know, now we start to put the, what I would call, now we start to put the details in. We start to then, you know, more the daily practice of it.
Right.
You know?
No, and I love that. And you know, we went over on our coaching call. We went over like as you mentioned, the triangle, which is the artist brand triangle, and at the top is the story. Whenever I think about the story, I think about the past, right? That's our past. That's the legacy that we're leaving behind, our story, which is not only think about something that passed, but the thing that I'm doing right now is going to be part of that story. So is the past connected to the now, right? The story part. And then when you move on to the influences, it's also the influences that have come our way. You know, Michelangelo for you, as you said, when you were 16, the influences that still inform you as an artist. And also it works the other way too. As an artist at the state where you're at now, with such a huge following and with the success that you have achieved, you are also influenced to others, right? Now you are not only being influenced, but you are also an influence. So anything that you do, any change that you do will change also the influence that you have over other artists who look up to you, right? Who admire you, who the future Ian Edwards, you know, in their own way, who are following you right now because of social media. And what I love about the values section, the values is how I invest my time. Because at the end of the day, you know, everything that I do right now, if it's not aligned with a value, then why do it? You know, why am I doing it? And I think, you know, as you are looking at your, you know, how you spend your time on social media, what you do there, you know, I think that's where the values proposition kind of comes in. Is what informs our daily practice of how I use my time, because we spend time on things that we value. You know, sometimes, you know, an artist comes and says, hey, so I don't have time for this. Well, then because you don't value it enough, right? We make time for the things we value. We make time to eat because we value it, right? If we don't eat, we die. Simple. No matter how busy we are, we gotta find time to eat. So same thing, right? You know, if we find time for something, we pull it from somewhere else. So when we understand our values and the thing that we value, then we put our time in those things, because that's at the end, I think, as you said, that's what gives us the quality of life that we're looking for. But sometimes we don't even know what is the quality of life we're looking for, because we haven't taken the time to look at what is it that we value in life.
Very good point. That's a good point. Yeah. And for me, you know, there was a few things which are influences. I value them. You know, and you start to see how they connect around and where I've come from and what I've been doing. You start to see that they connect up. And that's a very good point. So then you know how you want to spend time, what you value. Even, you know, I'm completely jumping now, but we're about to purchase a new home. And one of the things I really needed was I value nature. So it had to be in an area which had trees, and like previous property, you know, I'd love to walk through the trees because I find that inspiring. I you know, it's a love of mine. Nature is a real love, and to connect to that. And so you start to question these things, and then you see how they run all the way through your life, you know. And I love the art of dedication. But where dedication to the craft,
right?
To sculpting the craft itself. I love this. You know, I can spend hours and hours in the studio just working. I don't get tired then, you know, or if I do, it's because the body is literally exhausted. You know, put me in the office, like, you know, I can't say I start drifting. I can't stay awake. I'm all over the place. You know, and again, it's so true. It's what you value. It's what means something to you. And I think it's also to build on those things, to know what they are and bring it into clarity.
Right.
No, that's a very good one.
And then when you bring people into your team, you know, to help you on those areas where you don't want to spend the time on, and somebody else can do it, so you can work on the things that you value the most and the things that you're really good at, then, you know, when they come in, they have to subscribe to that idea that you have put forward. Otherwise, they'll be lost themselves too. And I think,
Yes.
this exercise can something that evolves and changes and continues to inform kind of what we do and help others who come along to working with us. And Ian, well, we could talk about this for like 2 hours, but I know our friends probably have to go, and I don't want to take too much of your time. You've been so awesome. You've been a great friend, and also I admire you a whole lot as an artist as well. And your work, as we have been talking, I've been putting a lot of your images here for our friends to see your work. Your work is uplifting. Your work has this essence of presence, of I'm here. There's a purpose why. And I think, as you have gone through this process, it's going to even empower the work that you're already doing with great success, even to the next level, even further, just because you took the time, to invest in yourself, really, truly invest in who you are and yourself. And at the end of the day, I think because of that commitment, we all will benefit from on the other side, as we follow you, as we connect with you, as we look at you. And I just want to commend you on that, and wishing you the best of success, my friend, and in everything you do. I think it's going to be fabulous, going to be exciting. Your family will benefit from it, your audience, your friends, and even of us here all the way in Chicago.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's so kind of you. Thank you. And thank you for your help to shape this, and we'll continue to work together.
Absolutely. So Ian, tell your friends.
I look forward to it.
Thank you, man. Tell your friends, where can they connect with you in social media and your website and all the things where you are at.
So it's with Ian Edwards, sculptor Ian Edwards. Is on Instagram, sculptor Ian Edwards. Is the best place to find me. Come and follow, reach out to me, DM me, I'll message you back. Yeah, always happy to share with other artists. I love that.
Excellent. And your website?
It's sculptor Ian Edwards as well.
Yeah. SculptorEdwards.com. Excellent. I'm going to put the links also here on the video and on the description as well. If you guys are listening through the podcast, what I would love you guys to do is go to Instagram, follow Ian, so you can actually see the work that we've been talking about here, and you will be really amazed and you will be inspired as well as I am. So thank you, Ian. Thanks everyone for watching today or listening to this podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, and invest in yourself. That's the best thing you can do. Invest in yourself. Maybe if you haven't done it this year, maybe last couple of years because of the pandemic and everything going crazy, look at your schedule for 2022 and say, okay, when can I take a week off or 2 weeks off, to really invest in myself? And I think the rewards will be many. So thanks, my friends, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.